Hey, good morning, it's Dr. James. I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. And look over there. That's Kiki the Wonder Pug going down for a nap. I'm that boring already. Hey, you know what? This morning I am so excited to share with you something that's been really moving in my heart over these last number of days. And I think it comes down to one of the probably the most important experience that we can bring into our lives. And that's an experience that benefits other human beings. You know, we are certainly alive to the degree that we serve. And oftentimes when I keep on bringing forth this idea of self-love and self-acceptance and how that is a form of social activism, a lot of people say, gosh, I'm really uncomfortable with prioritizing my self-love. It feels kind of weird and self-indulgent to put myself out as number one on my to-do list. Well, I want to share with you a couple of reasons why it's an extraordinarily important thing to do right now. And one of the most important things to begin with is the fact that we have to challenge our own self-imposed status quo, right? Over the time, I'm 57 years into my status quo, a certain way of looking at life, living my life, seeing myself. And one of the greatest challenges, do we see ourselves with a level of softness that allows us to be molding and evolving over time? Because being a heartaholic is one of the things that this last year plus has brought in so many of us, right? We're so used to going into sympathetic dominance, which is we wake up and immediately we feel a sense of stress, we feel a defensiveness, we feel like we gotta put up our walls. I mean, my goodness, with what's happened with COVID and putting this social distance between us, physical distance, not social distance, physical distance, because socially we can still be awesome. I do believe that. And we can do that in all kinds of different ways. But because of that, our sensitivity to the stress mechanism inside of us has never been higher. So we wake up and we know, because we're not being close to people, our oxytocin levels are going down. Day by day, the more distance we have, the more that we find ourselves having hormonal shifts that create more and more emotional and spiritual distance. So the one way that we can overcome that is by building our own oxytocin, which closes the distance between us and others emotionally and spiritually, regardless of the physical distance. And I think how we can do that is challenge the status quo of worthiness. Like, when do we finally come to that time in our lives where we say, you know what? I don't have to prove whether or not I'm worthy of my love. Because interesting enough, the more that we allow ourselves to move outside of what is known, that zone of comfort, and go to that outside space, which in Greek they call akentros, which is choosing to be eccentric, which is leaving status quo. That was the initial etymology of eccentric, akentros. Leaving status quo, going out to the place that is unknown to find your true self. To find your true self. Oh my goodness, what a great time to be eccentric right now. And along with that, being a disciple of your peace. I wrote this down because being a disciple simply means being a student. And when we find ourselves at peace or bringing more and more peace into our life, it's usually associated with the times that we're feeling most love, and not necessarily always from others. In fact, research tells us that our brain really accommodates more and more space when we are being loving towards ourselves, with our self-acceptance, with our self-compassion, with that softness, taking your eyes and softening that inner eye that looks at ourselves and doesn't judge ourselves, but roots for ourselves and opens and says, you know what? We've got this. I see you. I love you. That is what our inner voice wants to be saying when we've allowed ourselves to be uncomfortable by leaving status quo and challenging whatever voice we've developed over our lifetime. And lastly, when we do that, when we become a witness of ourselves and we become a student of what gives us more and more peace, which is love, that is when we develop the important piece of something called self-efficacy, which is when we actually lean in and notice how many beautiful things that we have accomplished in our life. And each and every day, wake up in the morning and list at least 3 to 5 things that you intend to do in the name of love for yourself. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to eat some broccoli. I am going to make sure that I If I go on digital platforms, I'm only going to go to the ones that make me feel love and hopeful. I'm not going to go to the ones that don't make me feel that way. I'm going to do a FaceTime with one of my besties just because I know when I lay eyes on their human being, my oxytocin levels are just exploding in the most beautiful way. And that is self-efficacy, simply being a witness to what makes us come alive, what makes us feel love, what makes us feel hope. So this is a beautiful time to consider how your self-love ultimately is absolutely the most powerful form of social activism. Repeat after me. I'm just going to, never done this before, but no sides, only love. Take the boundaries away from yourself, take the boundaries away from all beings, and see whether or not you can absolutely stand in your truth, which is love, and hold it, be it, express it. Okay. Time to wake up, sweetheart. Did you see that? She just woke up because I was done. So there you go. Much love, all blessings, by the way. This is Kiki the Wonder Pug. She's my spirit animal in so many ways. Peace and blessings. Bye for now.